What's up, guys? ASAP here, and this is a very different video from the other videos I put on YouTube. As you guys already know, I am a huge wrestling fan. That is my ultimate goal in life. That's what I want to do. YouTube is just a side thing. This is just what I want to do for fun and all that stuff. But if you guys don't know a little bit, you want to know more about ASAP, that's what I want to do. I want to be a wrestler. As being a big time wrestling fan, the past few days when it comes to wrestling has been shocking. That is the word. Shocking and disappointing. I didn't even, cover about how I felt about CM Punk coming back. I didn't cover about like what's going on in AEW, what happened at AEW All Out. I didn't even cover, what happened to SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver. It's been a very rocky, not even weeks, months. If you guys don't watch wrestling, there is another company called All Elite Wrestling, AEW for short. It has, ex-WWE stars such as Malachi Black, Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, all of these big time stars. And then not only you got ex-WWE stars, you also have, up and coming stars such as Darby Allin, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, MJF. It's a lot of wrestlers that I can cover in AEW. I can do a whole different video about AEW and all that. But this is one of the topics. And one of the topics is AEW All Out. And one of the things I would like to cover about AEW All Out is that pay-per-view, and I'm just going to say this very, very bold. I've been watching wrestling for 20 years now. Literally 20. Literally my entire life. So it's been 22 years. Out of all of the pay-per-views that I've watched, I'm talking about the WrestleManias of the world. I'm talking about the No Mercies of the world, the Bad Bloods, the Armageddon, Unforgiven. All of these good-ass pay-per-views that I've named, AEW All Out is literally top 5 best pay-per-view of all time that I watched. And this is not me being biased about AEW. This is not me about saying that AEW right now is better than WWE. Which it is, as far as wrestling content wise, but this is coming from somebody who's been analyzing wrestling for 20 years plus. All right, and it's literally top 5 best pay-per-view I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Okay, the first reason why it's the best pay-per-view of all time, well, not of all time, but top 5. The matches were splendid. The female casino battle royale, we had, Ruby Soho coming back, or not coming back. She's coming, from WWE to AEW because she got released, from WWE. If you guys don't know who Ruby Soho is, that was Ruby Riott in WWE. You also have Miro, which was Rusev in WWE, against Eddie Kingston. If you guys are not familiar with Eddie Kingston, please look him up because he is very, very talented. We also had Jon Moxley. We also had CM Punk versus Darby Allin, which was probably one of the best in-ring return matches that I have ever seen, coming from a guy who's been laying off wrestling for a cool 7 years and went in the ring and acted like, or just performed like he wasn't even in the ring for 7 years off, but 7 days off. It was just crazy how that happened. Then on top of that, you have the last match of the night, which was the main event, Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage. Everybody know how that happened. Adam Cole coming, returning. He did one of the biggest swerves in AEW. Then Bryan Danielson came out. If you guys don't know who Bryan Danielson is, that is Daniel Bryan. That is the GOAT, the leader of the Yes Movement. But he's not Daniel Bryan anymore. He is the American Dragon. That was number 2. The number 2 reason was, the surprises about the pay-per-view. It was just crazy. If you guys were here in the stream of the live reactions in the AEW, this is all you saw was the menu. literally, because I couldn't take my eyes off of the TV because I'm watching Miro and Eddie Kingston literally chop their fucking chests off until they turn red. You also had, like I said, the female casino battle royale. You also had CM Punk, versus Darby Allin. That match was crazy. And on top of that, I'm not even gonna leave out the AEW World Tag Team Champion match. That match was crazy. All right, crazy. Literally one of the best tag team matches I've seen in a very, very long time. I'm gonna tell you why this pay-per-view, another reason why this pay-per-view is probably top 5 of all time, is because this pay-per-view changed the landscape of wrestling, period. For the people who are not familiar with wrestling, if I talk to somebody who literally don't watch wrestling, who don't know what wrestling is, but they heard of WWE. If I talk to that guy and say, hey, you watch wrestling? Like, you know what WWE is? Yeah, I know what WWE is, but I don't watch wrestling. WWE has always been number one. It will always be number one, right? Global wise, as far as like content, like sports entertainment. The demographic of wrestling has changed over the years, and not only that, you also have how global it's been. You got NXT is about to be NXT India. Well, it was rumors going around. They had this big event at the Thunderdome about India. You also have NXT UK, regular NXT. They were about to do a partnership with New Japan. Well, basically it was about to be NXT Japan. WWE has gone very, very global, right? But when you talk about the people who just want to see wrestling, AEW is the place to watch it. They have great matches. They don't have rematches. They barely have rematches. Repetitive matches they barely have. It's just really, really crazy how good AEW really is. And AEW All Out 2021 was literally the game changer of wrestling. Now let's shift to WWE. And this is literally the title of this video. And I'm going to, explain it. WWE is in a very bad place right now. To me, I know everybody, has like their own takes when it comes to WWE. I know everybody has like their own, perspective on how WWE is. But when it comes to how bad WWE really is, it's very bad. Perfect example. Adam Cole didn't even hit the main roster. He was in NXT his entire WWE career. Ripped the house down with Undisputed Era. Ripped the house down with the trilogy of him and Kyle O'Reilly. Him being the first North American champion. From him beating Johnny Gargano and NXT TakeOver. I forgot which TakeOver it was. And for him being the longest reigning NXT champion of all time, tells you a lot about Adam Cole and how talented that guy is. And for that talented wrestler not to go to Raw nor SmackDown is bad. The reason why I say that is because, if you guys know, WWE has a habit where they have somebody dominant in NXT. You got people like Keith Lee, people like Karrion Kross, people like Bo Dallas, Pac, which his name was Adrian Neville in WWE. You had all of these great NXT talent. The Extension, which is one of the greatest NXT tag teams of all time. I've mentioned that in the Chris Fatal videos. And look at these guys. And the Shades of the Extension. One of the best NXT tag teams in the form of man. And when they go to the main roster, it's over for them. Over. Like, what I mean is over, it's over. Like, you can slowly see it. Like when it comes to Keith Lee is exceptional because Keith Lee was out for, you know, predominantly the entire year because Jesus Christ, the guy was literally about to die. Then you have people like Karrion Kross. I don't even have to explain Karrion Kross. I'm gonna just put a picture from when he is in NXT or when he was in NXT to right now in WWE. You can just tell the comparison that he's gonna get ruined in the main roster. You also have people like Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas was an NXT champion. He came to the main roster. He did this whole, you know, Bo Leave thing, which is very, very good. And then after that, he sunk. Okay. Like I said, the Ascension, which was literally one of the greatest NXT tag teams of all time. We're talking about of all time. You got the American Alphas of the world. You got the Revivals of the world. You got the Sanities of the world. The Undisputed Eras of the world. And Ascension was literally one of the best NXT tag teams. They're in the conversation. And for them to go to the main roster and for them to feud with the APA, D-Generation X, everybody, well, and I'm not going to say everybody saw it, but if you're a wrestling fan, people saw the downfall what the Ascension had to go through. And they, you know, ultimately, unfortunately got released from WWE, right? That is one thing about WWE when you have like these main roster call-ups and they don't do nothing, you know, about these stars. I'm going to tell you a thing about Adam Cole. Adam Cole, if he would have stayed in WWE, he was going to be a manager for Keith Lee. Keith Lee was going to turn heel, and they were going to change his name simply to Cole. Literally, they were going to change Adam Cole to Cole. Like, just imagine that. A guy like Adam Cole, bro. Adam Cole coming into WWE, starting in NXT, ripping the house down, like I said, with Undisputed Era. And for him to be in the main roster, Raw or SmackDown, to be managed, to be a manager, to manage to Keith Lee. Like, what sense does that make? What does it make? Another reason about WWE right now is that the matches. Okay? The repetitive surprise roll-up, rematch after rematch, rematch after rematch, rematch after rematch, every single week. It doesn't even matter if it's WWE. It doesn't matter if it's NXT. And it doesn't even matter if it's SmackDown. If you're under WWE, you're going to have a rematch with somebody. And it's going to be repetitive. All right? It's going to be very, very annoying to the point where you're going to just simply turn off the TV or you're going to just change the channel. Another reason why AEW has changed the landscape of wrestling, and this was just a small reason compared to AEW All Out. When NXT went live on Wednesday, and they were going to add it with AEW, Wednesday Night War, AEW ripped NXT to shreds. They ripped them to shreds. To shreds! As far as like ratings, demographic wise, NXT only won 1 week out of all of those weeks that went at it. And they shipped them out of Wednesday nights. They changed NXT forever. Now, I don't know what's going on with this new makeover NXT, but we're just going to have to bear with it, you know, next week. To me, I don't like it. I think the black and gold brand was very, very good. I just feel like the only thing that was wrong with NXT is that the CWC. I do not like the environment anymore. The environment was cool at first. I like how how it looks, but NXT is just way too good and way too big to be in a small arena like the CWC. I feel like NXT should travel. It's not the developmental brand anymore. All right, NXT is the third brand of WWE, and they need to treat it like that because people like NXT. They love NXT. Hell, they love NXT more than the main roster. As far as like wrestling wise, like that is WWE's indie show. And, you know, having Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard pitching ideas for NXT is bad. Very, very bad. If I was you know, with the WWE, as far as like writing, as far as like creating ideas, they just need a new makeover. The sports entertainment part, it was cool back then. It was cool during the Attitude Era. It was cool during the Ruthless Aggression Era. But it runs its course. It runs its course. And like I said, I've been watching wrestling for 20 plus years. And I have seen it all, chat. I've seen it all. I even know when somebody's turning heel. I know when somebody's turning face. I know when somebody's going to win a match. Like, it's getting to a point where it's very, very predictable. And they need a new makeover. Vince McMahon doesn't see AEW as competition. And they shouldn't, because AEW don't see WWE as competition. But the difference between AEW and WWE, like I said, is because they have better matches than them. The storylines are better. It's just a breath of fresh air when you watch AEW. And it's so relieving. I don't know if I said that word right, but it's just such a relief when you watch AEW. And every Wednesday night and every Friday night at 10 o'clock. We know Smackdown is, you know, the predominant show on Friday nights, but right after Friday Night Smackdown go off, Rampage is on. And Rampage is only 1 hour, and it's just a breath of fresh air. Not saying that Smackdown isn't good, but you know, just how it is. The last thing I'm gonna cover of this video is SummerSlam. SummerSlam was not a good show. SummerSlam reminded me of was it WrestleMania 34 when he went back to New Orleans, and then it was AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I believe it was WrestleMania 34 because WrestleMania 33 was in Orlando. So yeah, let's talk about SummerSlam. All right, SummerSlam was bad. SummerSlam was terrible. The only good matches that I liked in SummerSlam was both of the tag team matches. The Raw Women's Tag Team Champion. Not the Raw. Did I say the Raw Women's Tag Team Champions? Oh, shit. The Raw Women's title, the Universal Championship match was good. They were the only matches that I liked. Only matches. There were 4 matches that I liked out of the entire card. Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg was going to be disappointing from the start. But having Goldberg not to finish the match, this motherfucker couldn't even finish the fucking match, and it was bad. The SmackDown Women's Championship match wasn't even a match. They had Becky Lynch returning, waste of a return, and have her squash Bianca Belair, somebody who's been holding down this women's division ever since she's been gone. Her, Bayley, and Sasha, them three, main three. For her to come back and for her to squash Becky Lynch, or not Becky Lynch, for her to squash Bianca was beyond me. It was beyond. They did the same thing with Kofi. Kofi didn't deserve that. Bianca most certainly didn't deserve that. The SmackDown Women's Championship match was just all over the place. The segment that they had with John Morrison, The Miz, and Xavier Woods was trash. It was trash. SummerSlam was just all over the place. It was just all over the place. And I felt like it wasn't organized. It wasn't a good show. The way how they put the show together was not good. It was not good at all. Like I said, it reminded me just like WrestleMania 34, when they had all of the pieces and they failed every single match except for a good 3 or 4. Honestly. Now, as far as like WrestleMania 34, like that is a different, video, like different conversation for a different video. But I'm not going to cover that because that was like, 3 years ago? And if nobody didn't, see what happened, at WrestleMania 34 and see like why it was such a disappointment, then yeah, maybe you should go to Peacock. Peacock. That is another thing I want to cover. I am so glad that I most definitely bumped Peacock up. This is going to be the last thing I'm going to cover. Peacock TV. If you guys don't know what Peacock TV is, it's a streaming service for TV. They stream, like I said, TV shows, movies, and you know, WWE is the main thing because they got all this stuff. WWE had their own network, which is called the WWE Network. I think they had that since like 2014. It's been out, you know, for quite some time, and they recently just, you know, disbanded the WWE Network, and they put all their, you know, stuff on Peacock. Peacock is not a good streaming service. I was watching Money in the Bank 2021, and I miss most of Seth Rollins and Cesaro. What Peacock does when they stream WWE pay-per-views live, WWE pay-per-views, it tends to mess up, it tends to freeze, it tends to skip, and it's not a good streaming service. As far as like WWE is not. The WWE Network didn't even have no problems for me. I never had no problems when it comes to WWE Network. It ran smooth. The way how like the way how it was formed, like just the format of the WWE Network was just so perfect. And I don't know why they, you know, say that, hey, we're just gonna erase this entire network and we're just gonna put all our shit on Peacock. It was just very, very bad. Very, very bad. But yeah, that is that's what I wanted to cover, because wrestling to me is something, like I said, is something that I really want to do, and I've been thinking about doing these videos for like quite some time, and I'm, you know, ASAP is trying to be versatile with his shits. It's just very, very bad for WWE, and this is why wrestling has changed forever. Thank you guys. Love you. Peace out.